Appreciation of Eileen Zhang's Love in a Fallen City. Talk about the calculation between men and women. How to turn a playboy into a long-term meal ticket. Love in a Fallen City has a very beautiful title, but it is about an unbeautiful love. The poetry on the surface of the title is completely washed away by the calculations and reality between the male and female protagonists in the story. All Liusu wants is financial security and a long-term meal ticket, while fan Liuyuan's plan is to make Liusu a mistress instead of a wife. Not only did they have their own plans, they also knew each other's thoughts very well. Fan Liuyuan said directly to Liusu, "I don't have to spend money to marry someone who has no feelings for me to restrain me. That's too unfair for you. That's not fair. Oh, maybe you don't care. You think marriage is long-term prostitution." Liusu also understands this very well. He wants her, but he doesn't want to marry her. He just hopes Liusu will automatically fall into his arms to be one of his mistresses. There is no trace of romance in this. It is clearly a selfish and deformed transaction, an explicit transaction, and a war of love. From the very beginning, it was obvious that the man had the initiative and dominance in this transaction, but the arrival of the war changed everything. The fall of Hong Kong made Liusu the winner, and she changed from a mistress to a legitimate wife. A real war disrupted the order of the love war. In the face of the real war, the transaction of love stopped, and the war of love also flamed out. When everything was about to be lost, the communication between people became sincere, and each other the love between them has removed the color of transaction. They support each other and depend on each other for life and death. In the rumbling sound of gunfire, there is no more subtle calculation between the two. Instead, they abandon themselves and miss each other wholeheartedly. She doesn't know anything else. At this moment, she only had him, and he only had her. She is picky about love when she has everything, and even plays with love. When everything is gone and her life is threatened, she loves selflessly. Zhang Eiling really sees people through. The so-called Qingsheng we see is not the all-consuming love caused by appearance or demeanor in the traditional sense, but it has become an expression of the fall of the city of Hong Kong. From the point of view of the word's restored meaning, Eileen Zhang's description of modern love, relatively speaking, is essentially a subversion of traditional love, especially legendary stories. Even if a woman has stunning beauty, she may not have the charm to make a man fall in love with her. In other words, in real society, it is difficult for a man to be attracted to a woman's beauty. There has never even been one, legend has it. This is probably the case with the charming people in the novel. And the final sentence of the whole article is the highlight of this thought. Yes, the stories and legends are often beautiful as ingenious works of art, which make us envious. But are these legends really models of love? Not necessarily. The love in legendary stories was originally the perfect state we long for. But after several years of processing and beautification, especially after being used as political tools by rulers of all dynasties, the characters in them have changed beyond recognition and have gradually been mythized, like gods. Perfect, which further highlights the weaknesses of us mortals and the mediocrity of real life. It is precisely based on the understanding of people's ordinary worldly state that the novel is transforming the story that should have become a legend from beginning to end. Restoration. Everything conforms to the laws and logic of daily life, and everything is what ordinary people should do and think, thus eliminating the absoluteness, purity, and sublimity of myths and legends. This is why we are more interested in Zhang Eiling's love story. Most of them see worldly utility and calculation. It is undeniable that compared to pure noble love, utilitarianism and calculation are more in line with the thinking and behavioral logic of us ordinary people, although we are not willing to admit it. Therefore, the characters portrayed by Zhang Eiling are more ordinary people, and they write about mediocre things. There is no evocative and soul-stirring love here, nor does she ask about the meaning of life or the value of life. All she talks about is trivial, the troubles of life and chaos. Although these people and things are very vulgar, they can resonate with us very much. Because as ordinary people, life is so chaotic, changeable, realistic, and random. In these vulgar things, in this incident, we see our own shadow. See the humbleness and pity of ordinary life, unaware of the joys and sorrows, and the vivid faces flying before our eyes. When we mourn their misfortunes and anger them, we suddenly become speechless. Because it was clearly our own performance, Liusu and Liuyuan did not want to pursue pure love. When Liusu heard Liuyuan talk about this wall, for some reason it reminded me of words like the end of the world. One day, our civilization is completely destroyed. Everything is finished, burned, blown up, collapsed. Maybe this wall is left. Liusu, if we had met under this wall at that time. Liusu, maybe you would be a little sincere to me, and maybe when I would be a little sincere to you. I would definitely have the idea of loving at all costs, but as an ordinary person, life is more like a comprehensive coordination. It is difficult to enjoy that pure thing. It is more about finding the so-called balance among multiple factors. By Liusu, who is nearly 30 years old and divorced, and has been bullied by her parents' family, can no longer have a girl-like sentiment in love. She can be sucked into the glorious background of vermilion and gold from this generation. Little by little, Danjun fought her way out of a gloomy family with timid eyes, and escaped from Shanghai, where she was addicted to her youth and life. She had exhausted all her energy and had no dreams or longings for love. She decided to bet with her future. If she won the bet, she could get Fan Liuyuan, the object that everyone was coveting, and relieve the bad breath in her chest. Love is for marriage, and marriage is for having a long-term meal ticket. This is a very realistic idea. Behind this kind of bargaining love is the main theme of ordinary people's lives. The vigorous and unrestrained romance works will basically not fall on us. Even if we have the evil intention, we don't have the courage. That's why today's romantic partners are more concerned with real economic issues such as work, housing, and savings. Love is gradually being commercialized and becomes more like a transaction. Yes, as a common person, the first thing you have to consider is survival. Without an economic foundation, spiritual love is so pale, weak, and even unrealistic, just like the pale and vague moonlight in novels.
Alright, this story has come to an end. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you.